Well, folks, I suppose it's time we say goodbye to Dexter Resurrection, Season 1, Episode 10. Landed with a resounding bang, beautiful ending to a nearly perfect season. I wish you buckling up saves lives. Also, I'm driving on a freaking road where there's nobody, dude, so get off my case. Beautiful season that, aside from a few of its flaws, turned out to be exceptionally awesome. We can explain away the plot armor and the finding of the bleach and, where'd all the plastic come from? All that stuff doesn't really matter, right? Because what we're talking about here is not a true story. What we're talking about is the story of someone trying to find out who they are because they've got different desires, right? I think a lot of us can relate to Dexter, not because we're serial killers, but because, we struggle sometimes with our selfish desires and our selfless desires. And that's really what Dexter is about. And that's really what this entire season was about. And I think it ended with Dexter finding out that he could be both. I don't want to talk anymore about the dumb Dexter from episode 9, because I really do think that the only flaw on this season was the rush job at the end. And I think that rush job led to some of the silliness within the Dexter character in episode 9. But his relationship with Harrison evolved wonderfully well. It was nice that we didn't get those two fighting again at the end, right? It wasn't a soap opera, right? The soap opera model is we get people angry at each other, then they're happy together for a few seconds, then get them angry at each other again. We did not have any of that here. I think that every character got what they deserved. For all of the wondering about, and criticism of Blessing, of Gigi, of Elsa, of Claudette, everybody else, I think they all got, except for Elsa, right? Elsa did not really get a closure there at the end, nor did we really get a closure of Harrison at the end. And now that I'm really thinking about it, right? We had Dexter on his boat and his little flashbacks. I'd have to go back and watch it again. I've only watched it 4 times so far. I have to go back and kind of really see. But I think everybody got their closure, right? Elsa and her son were there. They got closure with Dexter, scaring the landlord. Batista got what Batista wanted, right? Batista found out the absolute truth. And for Batista to go on with that truth, on that confirmation, I don't really think that, he would have wanted to live. I think Batista got what he deserved, got what he wanted as a character. Quinn Masuka, that little phone call there at the end where he even mentions Masuka's name, pretty interesting, because I think that there's a line there, bringing closure to Dexter, his humanity, if he missed them. We got this season, we got Dexter confirmation. And Dokes says this, right? Dokes says this in the very first episode in his ghost flashback cameo, that Dexter is a good person way, way, way deep down. And that's what we got. We got to see the good person that Dexter is in this episode, in this season. And we got that confirmation. Now, where it goes from here, that's where it's going to get a little bit tricky. I think we're going to have to, it's going to be wild, man. I think we're gonna want to see a season of Dexter killing the rest of these serial slayers. New phrase that we've just heard here this season, uttered by Peter Dinklage, aka Prater, aka the angry elf that ended up in Santa's bag at the end. And then now we also then have this Ripper thing. So we're gonna have 2 seasons. This next season is going to be some glorious Dexter, glorious Dexter Dextering. And then season 3 is going to be the hunt for the New York Ripper. He's going to work with the police. I'm not sure how any of this is going to end. But I feel like if this entire Dexter everything were to end on this note, Dexter on the boat, Dexter looking in the camera, telling us that we've got what we wanted, what we as an audience deserved for watching all of this, I would be okay with that. Be good to each other.